the summer of 1817, the quiet fishing town of Gloucester, Massachusetts, became the stage for one of the most extraordinary creature sightings in American history. For weeks, scores of witnesses swore they saw something massive and alive moving just off the coast. A beast longer than a ship, writhing with impossible speed and vanishing into the depths before anyone could fully understand what they were seeing. They called it the Gloucester Sea Serpent, and for more than 2 centuries, its legend has lingered. But was it a genuine sea monster or something far more earthly? Let's step back. Gloucester in 1817 was a thriving seaport built on fishing and maritime trade. This wasn't a place where people frightened easily. Sailors, whalers, and fishermen knew the ocean's dangers intimately. They had seen whales breach, sharks slice through shoals, and schools of fish churn the sea into chaos. So when dozens of these hardened mariners began describing a single, massive creature moving through the waters of Cape Ann, people paid attention. And this wasn't the first time such a beast had been spoken of. As far back as 1638, an Englishman named John Josselyn wrote of seeing a serpent coiled upon a rock near Cape Ann. He described it as thick as a man's thigh, glittering in the sun before it slipped back into the sea. For centuries, whispers of sea serpents drifted along the New England coast, but they were mostly dismissed until 1817. That year, the Gloucester Serpent exploded into the public consciousness. In August, multiple witnesses spotted the creature moving just outside Gloucester Harbor. At first, it was a handful of reports of strange, elongated shapes in the water, undulating like the coils of a snake. But within days, the sightings multiplied. Shipmasters, fishermen, dockworkers, even children playing near the shore, all claimed to see the same thing. The descriptions were startlingly consistent. A creature at least 60 to 100 feet long, dark, almost black in color. Its body rose and fell in humps, like a line of barrels tied together. The head was often compared to a horse's, angular, long, with large eyes that glinted when the sun hit them. And most unnerving of all, it seemed curious. The serpent would approach small boats, circle them, then dive beneath the waves. Witnesses swore it could travel faster than a ship under sail, vanishing in seconds. Within weeks, Gloucester was gripped with excitement. Crowds gathered along the shoreline hoping to catch a glimpse. Some of the town's most respected citizens, men with reputations for sobriety and truth, signed sworn statements describing what they'd seen. In an age when America was still building its identity, the Gloucester Serpent became a kind of national fascination. Of course, not everyone was content just to watch. In September of 1817, a local carpenter named Matthew Gaffney armed himself with a musket. One morning, as the serpent surfaced near the harbor, Gaffney took aim and fired. He swore he hit the creature's head, but instead of thrashing in pain, it simply disappeared beneath the surface. The monster never resurfaced that day. To some, this was proof that the creature was real, too real to be killed by a single bullet. To others, it cast doubt. If no evidence could be produced, maybe it was nothing more than imagination. But the sightings continued, and they drew the attention of scientists. The newly formed Linnaean Society of New England sent investigators to Gloucester. They interviewed dozens of witnesses, collecting sworn depositions. They published detailed reports describing the serpent's features, its behavior, even sketches drawn by those who swore they saw it. It was one of the first times in American history that a supposed cryptid was studied in a systematic, almost scientific way. And yet, despite all the testimony, there was still no physical evidence. The accounts paint a vivid picture. Witnesses described a body undulating above the waves, moving in a way no whale or fish could. Some swore the head rose a full 10 feet out of the water, with a strange mane or frill trailing behind it. Others claimed it had a horn or spear-like protrusion from its skull. Its motion was most often described as serpentine, a smooth, rolling flexion that carried it swiftly through the harbor. One fisherman described it as a string of buoys fastened together, rising and falling with the swell. Whatever it was, it didn't match any known sea creature of the time. But skeptics had their own theories. Some believed it was simply a misidentified school of porpoises or seals, swimming in formation. To the eye of an excited observer, a line of breaching animals could resemble a single, elongated body. Still others blamed optical illusions, logs, floating debris, or wave patterns mistaken for something alive. But none of these explanations fully accounted for the sheer number of reports or the consistency of the details. Whether real or imagined, the Gloucester Sea Serpent left its mark. Plays and poems were written about it. Artists sketched dramatic illustrations for newspapers. Gloucester itself leaned into the legend, using it as a source of local pride and lore. For a time, it seemed the serpent might even be recognized by science as a new species. But just as quickly as it had appeared, the sightings dwindled. By the 1820s, the Great Serpent of Cape Ann was rarely mentioned. Today, the Gloucester Serpent is remembered as one of America's most famous cryptid stories. And modern researchers still debate what happened in the summer of 1817. Was it a case of mass hysteria, a cultural moment where imagination fed upon itself, fueled by newspapers hungry for sensational stories? Or was there truly something strange in the waters off Cape Ann that year? Some cryptozoologists argue the serpent could have been a surviving relic of a prehistoric species, perhaps a giant marine reptile thought long extinct. And skeptics maintain that once the story spread, people began to see what they expected to see. Each wave, each floating log, became proof of the monster. But in a way, the truth matters less than the story itself. The Gloucester Sea Serpent is more than just a legend, it's a window into how humans interpret mystery, how we see patterns in chaos, and how stories spread through communities, taking on lives of their own. For the people of Gloucester in 1817, the serpent was real enough to sign sworn statements, real enough to draw crowds to the shoreline, real enough to fire a musket at. And for us today, it's a reminder that the ocean still holds secrets and that our as powerful as ever. So what swam through Gloucester Harbor more than 200 years ago? The answer, like the serpent itself, may forever remain just beneath the surface. But one thing is certain. In the summer of 1817, the people of Gloucester looked out across their familiar harbor and saw something that shook them to their core. And in that moment, the ordinary world of sails and salt spray collided with the timeless, terrifying possibility that monsters are real.